Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Initially, I said I wasn't going to speak about this situation, but upon further consideration, I decided to give people an in-depth look of what people like myself have to go through when they are trying to make a difference in the community. About, let's say, a month ago, I applied for an application to be a volunteer in the Reading Buddies program at Carver Heights Elementary School here in Goldsboro, North Carolina. And upon sending the application in, they told me I would undergo a background check and the things of that nature. So I sent the application in, and about, like I said, on November the 10th, or a little thereafter, I received this letter from the Wayne County School Board and the superintendent, Dr. David A. Lewis. It says, thank you for your application to volunteer with the Wayne County Public Schools. As a part of our volunteer selection process, we require a background check, blah, blah, blah. This is to advise you that unfortunately your volunteer application has been denied. And it goes on to say about the Fair Credit Reporting Act and, the Consumer Reporting Agency and all of those things that led into their decision to deny me. Now, included with that letter was this packet, right? This packet says, my application, if you can read it, says don't meet the guidelines. And if you see right here, it says subject information. So apparently I'm not a person, I am a subject. However, if you want to label me like that, in school I learned that a subject is something that you study, that you evaluate, that you really take the time to learn. However, it's apparent to me that their study was just done by this data. Now, this data is a list of the criminal history that I have, and I'm going to go over a few of these charges with me. It says in July of 2000, July of 2000, 23 years ago, I was charged with a misdemeanor possession of marijuana. Also in 2001, I was charged again with possession of marijuana, a misdemeanor. In 2001, I was charged with an unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, a misdemeanor. And in 2008, I was charged with driving while impaired. That's a misdemeanor. That's over 15 years ago. In 2009, I was charged with speeding. Once again, that's 13 years ago. In 2010, I was charged with contempt of court. That's 12 years ago. And also the same year, I was charged with resisting a public officer 12 years ago. Driving while license revoked, a misdemeanor 12 years ago. Speeding last year, traffic ticket. And another speeding last year, traffic ticket. I do have a heavy foot, as they say. Here it is, resisting a public officer, July of 1995, nearly 3 decades ago, 28 years ago. Also, we have resisting public officer, and that stems from 1995, 28 years ago. Also, assault on a government official, which is a misdemeanor, and that happened in 1997, 25 years ago. Possession of marijuana, 1996, 26 years ago. Misdemeanor as well. Here we have, what is this? DWI, misdemeanor DWI, and that was in 1997, 25 years ago. A misdemeanor carrying a concealed weapon, 1997. I think that was when I was in college. Possession of marijuana, 1997, misdemeanor as well. No operator's license, 1997, misdemeanor. All of these, I think, happened at one stop in college. Here we go. Again, possession of marijuana, and that was in 1997, misdemeanor. Possession of marijuana, 1997, a misdemeanor. Carrying a concealed weapon, 1997. Here we have a gambling charge, 1998. No operator's license, 1997. Misdemeanor larceny, 1997. Injury to personal property, property, 1998. Once again, 25 years ago. Assault on a government official, misdemeanor, 1998, 24 years ago. Hit and run, 1998, 24 years ago. Possession of marijuana, 1998, misdemeanor, 25 years ago. Driving while impaired, 1998, 24 years ago. Possession of a firearm by a felon, 2005. What is that, 18 years ago? Possession of a controlled substance, 2008, nearly 15 years ago. Probation violation, that's 2019. And what else do we have here? 2011 violation of probation. So I've given you the list of all of the charges that they have excluded me from volunteering for. I also do want to show you guys this. If you can read here, it says sex offender registry, no court record found for Richard Antonio Taylor. Also, criminal security watch. I'm not on any criminal security watch list. So in examining these charges, I don't have any sexual or pedophilia charges or anything that endangers children. I don't have any violent crimes other than a misdemeanor assault, which basically I was beat up by the police, but of course they say I assaulted them. But nevertheless, I don't have anything that is in a danger unto the children at the school. So in considering this, once again, I'm not angry. I'm not, I'm not mad. I'm not even, disappointed, because, when the person told me about this, I already knew that this would probably be the decision. But I want to go back once again to this subject. Once again, they just took this data and made the qualification. Like, they didn't interview me. They didn't do any updates on what I'm doing now, what I have done to rectify these things. They just took these charges and made the decision. They took this data. Evidently, I'm just some words on a piece of paper. I'm not a human being who is capable of changing, who is capable of being an asset to their community. And I'm sure, once again, the superintendent, Dr. David A. Lewis, board chair Don Christopher West, vice chair Jennifer Strickland, members Patricia Burden, Lynn Henderson, Wade Leatham, Tommy Sanders III, and Craig Fouch. I'm sure that they don't have any relationship to these students that they are making the decisions upon. I'm pretty sure they stay out in the suburbs and they have no contact with these children on a day-to-day basis to unqualify or tell the children who is qualified to be of their assistance. Now, me, on the other hand, I stay right around the corner from these children, and I'm pretty sure that I have some firsthand experience on some of the things that they may be going through. It's like, for instance, a parent or parents who are incarcerated, or parents who are on drugs, or parents who are unemployed, or parents who are in domestic situation. All of those things that I can use, or those things that I've had experience with, to help them avoid those situations. Now, of course, I have parents in the community who allow me to pick up their young sons and take them with me to church, and take them to the gym with me, take them out to eat. So I have parents in the community who trust me with their children. So I'm not, disappointed to that effect, because I can still make the necessary change that I need to. But as Frederick Douglass says, and of course I do work in the prisons, but Frederick Douglass said it is much easier to build strong boys than repair broken men. And when the men in the prison that I speak to, they have made their mistakes and they have already went through those trials. But I think it's very important to catch these young children. And the majority of the children in that school are black, and probably, half of them are young black boys who don't really see a positive role model, a male role model in that school. Rather than, of course, black men are usually the PE teacher or the music teacher or the janitor. That's it. So I think it's very integral that they see someone like myself, who is a writer, who is a speaker, who works in the mental health field, who goes out and speaks to prison, who does a lot of things in this community to guide them on the right path. Rather than having someone who doesn't even probably visit these children's neighborhood to unqualify me. And my question is, what makes you qualified to unqualify me to be in these children's lives? What have you done for these children? And if I'm not mistaken, I think that one of the principals at either Carver Heights or Dillard actually has a DWI or a couple of DWIs himself. So if I'm unqualified to volunteer, I'm pretty sure he should be unqualified to be a principal. Definitely should be held to a higher standard. But nevertheless, I knew this would be the case when I applied for this. And once again, I'm not salty, but I just wanted people to see what people like myself have to go through when they attempt to make the necessary changes and the necessary differences where they see a need to be. I'm pretty sure that, I could be an impact to those children, but, nevertheless, they have taken this data to, once again, unqualify me. A person who has, made significant strides from 2008 and 1998 and 1997 and the year 2001. Why don't you talk to me? Why don't you interview me and see what I can bring to the table? But nevertheless, I thank y'all for just tuning in. And once again, I just wanted to give you an insight of what a person like myself has to go through. Once again, I've never been charged with hurting any children or putting any children in danger, things like that. So I don't know why these, once again, the majority of misdemeanors from anywhere from 15 to 30 years ago would have a bearing on what I am able to do today. But as the scripture said, the stone that the builders have refused will soon become the chief cornerstone. So once again, I want to thank you. If anybody knows any of these people, whether they're the superintendent, board members, chair, and feel like they may be able to advocate on my behalf or influence the reversal of this decision, feel free. I would welcome your support. You can call me. My number is 919-587-7782. My website is www.taylorhousepublishing.com, and my email is taylorpublishinghouse@gmail.com. But I did just want to give you all a in-depth look, and I'm not ashamed of these, charges or this data, because once again, I've made the necessary strides to rectify, and I've paid my debt to society, and evidently I'm still paying it. But I thank y'all guys for listening, man. Y'all have a blessed Christmas holiday season, and peace, love, and all that good stuff.